What makes you think I don't hunt? In the video you made this comment on, I'm wearing this camouflage hat and I'm wearing a Legendary Whitetails hoodie with a camouflage hood. Why do you think that raising animals versus hunting are mutually exclusive? I know a lot of farmers who hunt. What one big game animal is going to feed my family every meal for an entire year? Elk, if you get a big enough one, moose, and bison. I can get a tag for elk here in Washington State. I don't get to shoot an elk every year in Washington State. If I'm lucky, I get to see one that's a legal shooter and put it on the ground, but there's no guarantee that happens. So in the year I don't shoot that elk, is my family starving? Or am I relegated to have to go to a store and buy my food? My preference is I raise my food. I supplement this with whatever animal I am able to harvest, because I don't just draw elk tags, I also draw deer, bear, and mountain lion tags. So if I put any one of them on the ground, those supplement my quail, my rabbits. I don't understand why I would only eat one protein all year long. It doesn't make any sense to me. And also, there's a protein that the wild game animals, the big wild game animals who could feed me for a year would never provide for me. Eggs. And I like eggs for breakfast. So I have quail. Quail don't take up a lot of space. These are Coturnix quails, so they're entirely domesticated. I could let them go, as you assert, but they would run around the yard and sit in places, and every predator that walked through the yard would eat them. Raccoon, coyote, owl, falcon, eagle, freaking weasel, you name it, we've got it here. Rats, they will eat these birds. And two, these are entirely domesticated birds. They are not built to be wild. They do not have survival instincts like wild birds do. They won't sit on eggs because they don't go broody. They will lay eggs all year round versus wild birds that are only seasonal. And they have no survival instincts. In fact, they have the opposite. They have unaliving instincts. They are genuinely impressive at their ability to find new and improved ways to unalive themselves. So I keep them safe living in the cage. I know people keep them safe living in an aviary. But you have to keep these birds safe because literally a rat will kill them. So they stay in the cages. Just like the rabbits, they stay in the cages. They're safe. They're warm. They're dry in this shed. They get all the light they need, all the nutrients they need. They're not fighting for anything like they would in the wild. They live a very good life. I have a great and profound love, respect, and reverence for them and the sacrifice they make to feed my family. So I'm going to keep raising them because that's how I feed my family day in and day out, even when I don't come home with a wild animal. Because my family wants to eat, and I don't want to have to go to the store and buy it. And in the big picture, I'm trying to be very self-reliant out of this shed. I'm going to move it around a bit and expand it a bit here in the summer, and I'm going to put greens on the back wall, some big leafy greens and some microgreens. And then I will take those and I will use them to feed my rabbits and my quail, but also to feed us. My goal is 85% self-reliant out of this shed. How huge would that be to have a shed that you could go to for 85% of the food your family eats? Just walk out in the yard, there they are. Yes, there's some work in cleaning up after the quail. Yes, there's some work in coming out here every day to make sure they have food and water. Same with the rabbits, right? But the return on that is huge. Every week I come out and butcher a couple of quail and they go into 3 Ziploc bags and they go in the freezer. I don't need a big freezer for 3 1-gallon Ziploc bags. I need a big freezer for big game animals. And every week I can come out and it takes me 20 minutes to butcher the quail for the week. And I butcher the quail for the week. They go in the freezer and we eat them. Rabbits, same thing. 1 rabbit a week, maybe 2. And that feeds our family for the week. If I have red meat, that's 2 nights a week. The other 5 nights a week come from the quail and the rabbits. It's balance. And it's self-sustainment, and it's self-reliability, and it's a reliable and sustainable food source in this shed. And I'm doing this for me to feed my family, but I'm also doing this on here to show other people it's possible. Because it would be great if more people were able to raise their own food in a small shed on their property, so that they didn't have to rely on grocery stores where there's supply chain shortages, so that they didn't have to wonder what was in their food, because they know they raise their food, they feed their food, they care for it from birth to in the freezer. They know every piece of information about that food that's in their freezer. So that's why I do this on TikTok. But even if I wasn't on TikTok, I would still have the quail and I would still have the rabbits, because my goal is to be self-reliant out of this shed. Hunting's a great option. It does put a different source of protein in here, and I do enjoy hunting. But the likelihood that you're going to survive solely off of that hunt, at least in the lower 48, not a great chance of success. So I wish you the best if that's how you do things, and I wish you blessings in that endeavor. But for me, I don't get that lucky with hunting. I'm moderately lucky, but not every year lucky. So I'm going to keep raising animals. Stay awesome. Everybody have a great day.